Alright, you four, so management wanted me to have a little talk with you. Our customers are getting a little antsy and they want us to finish up this project ASAP. And you four have not been pulling your weight entirely. So I'm going to have to ask you to maybe put in 110% for a few days and try to bang this out real fast. Does that sound good to you guys? And don't worry, we've got a reward waiting for you guys. We won't just expect you to work overtime with no help whatsoever. We've got a pizza party planned for y'all. Does that sound good? That got you motivated? Alright, let's go. Hello everybody, I'm Martin. Welcome to another episode of Minecraft Enigmatica 2 Expert. Today, clearly we are delayed and cannot move further into the bragging rights section. So, it's not really a filler episode because we still have a couple things we have to bang out to finish out this pack anyhow. So today I figured it would be a good idea to try to finish out all of RFTools, and there's quite a bit left here to do. So I figured we might as well just pick somewhere and start with the matter receiver. In this, pretty much like everything else that we're going to be doing today is going to be some variety of easy, although it's going to be a bunch of components we haven't seen possibly, like these teleportation cores, which aren't hard. And this teleporter, which I think maybe we have seen but maybe didn't make, which is also looks bad but is not hard. That's going to be a reoccurring theme today, folks, although there are a couple of things that are gated by endgame stuff, and that's part of what makes me sad, because it really feels like RFTools is only half integrated into this pack for pretty much no real gain, but we'll get into some of that later. Alright, and we're going to do the usual, just pile stuff up on the ground that we're probably not ever going to use, because at this point in the game they're not useful to us. But the matter receiver is a device that lets you set a point to be teleported to. So we come in here, we can say home base, give it some power, and then this will become selectable to teleport to via the teleportation mechanisms within RFTools. Would be great if I just didn't have a bunch of better teleportation options already, and have pretty much forever. But the next one is the matter transmitter, which, surprise surprise, is the device that lets you teleport to someplace else. But this is pretty much the same thing with the interpearls reversed with the skystone blocks. But of course, even though these are both hooked up to power, nothing is ever simple, because we can't just use these two, we also need the next thing in the chain, which is the dialing device, which is even simpler to make. But now that we have the dialing device added to this, we can go into it, select this, and hit dial. We'd also hit dial once to only let it happen a single time, but this lights up the matter transmitter. And from here, we can just step onto it and get teleported directly over. This would have been more dramatic had I actually made it a little bit further away, but I did actually teleport there. The next thing up is the portal version, the charged porter, which might look a little intimidating because we haven't seen this before, but this is not hard either. So the charged porter is basically similar to the dislocator from a Draconic Evolution, except it can only be paired to other matter receivers. And to do so, you shift right click it on the matter receiver, and then you can just right click to teleport back, or shift right click to see your total list and set which one you want to go to. So for a powered solution, this isn't too bad, although you have to make a bunch of matter receivers and keep them all powered, versus the dislocator, which just eats ender pearls, but is horribly expensive to make. Next in the tree is the destination analyzer, which is really simple to make. And the whole purpose of the destination analyzer is to tell you if where you're teleporting to is safely powered so that you can get back from it. It has to be placed either adjacent to a dialing device or a matter transmitter. And if it's unsafe, the beam, instead of being green, would be red if I had powered down this matter receiver here. And the next stop in the teleportation line here is the matter booster, which is also pretty cheap to make, although it does require another destination analyzer. And the whole purpose of this one is to place it next to a matter transmitter, and if the beam's red, if you still teleport anyways, you won't die. And the basic purpose of that is to save you when you are dimension hopping, which is what we're getting into on the next set here. Because the next set begins with setting up the means to create new dimensions with the dimension inscriber. So we already found the dimlets off of our mob drops, and the dimension inscriber is where things start getting expensive because we need both a resonant cell frame and a draconic core, as well as these empty dimension tabs, which is just mostly black iron. And of course, I missed something completely obvious and painful. This requires paperbark wood from Pam's Harvest Crafts very specifically, which seems overly convoluted for no real reason. The things I do for you guys. Oh, this just gets better and better, because this requires Silk Touch, which I also didn't know. And you know what's not on my Draconic Axe? Thankfully I still have the old one lying around somewhere, I think, and I think it does have silk touch. The dimension describer is the very first step to creating a new dimension, because what this is for is creating these dimension tabs. What you can do is put an empty dimension tab in here and hit store, and you'll immediately get a random dimension. But you can put dimlets in here to modify what actually comes into this. But we would have to identify your dimlets to know what they even are first to be able to do that. And to start that, you just need to take a dimlet parcel and right click it. And it will add items to your inventory of various parts, which will let you then modify what you want to make. But we aren't to that step yet because it wants us to make the dimension builder first, which seems a little cart before the horse to me, before we can make the dimlet workbench. And the dimension builder is where things get super expensive, and we couldn't have made this before the last episode because we need the Infinity Catalyst, as well as an Indus Pearl. And then a bunch of other random junk, including the Tier 6 Void Miner we made previously. But I did say that this was going to be expensive back when I did those, and that's why I didn't set those on fire. Man, it's always something with this pack. I gotta go make some more chemical brass over in my Thaumcraft lab. I may already have some cooking there that I just haven't picked up. Thankfully, that's just normal bronze converted into this. Well, that was expensive and time consuming, but now we can move on to the dimlet workbench. And I'm showing the quest entry because this actually explains quite a bit and has the instructions for what you need to do. Although this is also in the RFTools manual as well as very likely online. But this is also somewhat expensive to make, and it does require a dimlet base part, which we should have because they're pretty common, and another resonant cell frame. But the rest of this is just crafters and compressed crafting tables. Okay, and the workbench lets you put together your dimlets into an actual dimension. And it lists all of the options here for all of the pieces and what you generally need. So say I wanted a dimension that can do diamond blocks. We can see that blocks of diamond require those pieces right down there. It includes a rarity 5 chip and a power 3 one. So it requires some of the rare stuff. I opened up a bunch of dimlet parcels, not quite a full stack, and we got one of those and 2 of these. So let me go see if I've got everything else that I need though, because I think I'm missing the actual memory unit as well now that I'm looking at it. Now, assuming we want to make a dimlet out of blocks of diamond, we do however need to put a material absorber above it and constantly feed it blocks of diamond until it's at 100%. Alright, so that took a while, and well, thankfully I've got nothing but time since we're still waiting for the singularities. Oh, so once you get this filled up, it shows that it's 100%. You just pop that off, go into your dimlet workbench, and you can put it in part of the recipe, and this now pops out the material dimlet block of diamond. And you can see that it takes quite a bit of power to get this created and to maintain it. But once we have this, we can put it in the dimension builder, which I probably should infuse first now that I'm looking at this. Alright, there we go, much better. So I want to note, before I pop this in and show you how this works, this is not the normal method for doing RFTools dimensions. The actual workflow here normally is to create a random dimlet to go to first, the way I showed you at the beginning where you just pop it in and hit store. The process is that you go into a random dimension, you go search around, you find these huts or dungeons, and you go find random dimlets that have random stats on them, not the bags that I have that are just a pack of random parts. The problem is, the way this is integrated into this pack, this jumps it all the way to deep endgame territory where I just have everything to just build what I want at this point. So be aware that we are shortcutting almost the whole process here to do something that we don't actually need to do, which is one of the reasons I don't like how this is integrated with RFTools in this pack, because RFTools, it feels like it's only really being used for the crafters. And don't get me wrong, the crafters are great, but there's so much more to RFTools than that. Anyhow, let's pop this in, let's build it, and let's see if we can get to... You know what? I didn't actually build it. Alright, I forgot something basic. We need to attach this dimlet to a feature or a terrain, which we can't have without going to a dimension first. So I guess we're going to hit store. We're going to get a random one, and we're going to go see how bad this is. I'm going to toss that in there. It's going to power up. The cost to run this is actually really, really cheap, and it's powered up now. Now we go to the dialing device and put this in here for the starting dimension, and we can now dial this. Now I need to be clear, before you go through one of these portals, you absolutely need a way home. I'm bringing my dislocator, so I've got the means to come back, but you either need another matter receiver or you need some other form of interdimensional teleporter to get back. So let's go see what we got. Alright, and we are in a very busted looking cobblestone world. I don't know what terrain type this is, but I guess let's put these down and see what we get. And unknown features, so there's probably no features. Well, it's getting something. Man, this whole map just looks like a bunch of static. I'm just doing a quick run around to see if I can find another hut to find some dimlets or anything, but this dimension is next to impossible to find anything in. Alright, so the terrain absorber's done, so we can grab that and maybe make a dimension that looks this ugly, but full of diamonds. And the feature absorber, this explains why I couldn't find any buildings, because that's the feature. That's a terrible feature. Alright, so I created the terrain dimlet for rough. I've paired it with the material dimlet for blocks of diamond. I stripped out all of the dimlets out of this one by using the extract button, which destroys them and resets it, just because I didn't want to make another one of these. And now we can create this. And now we can build something very, very expensive that I may need to add more power to. Wow, that is coming out of there fast. You know, it helps if I remember that I can disable the limit, but that is a lot of RF at a tick. But it's now filling up at a reasonable rate. But that's actually not hammering your battery too badly, though, at least. Okay, so we are at 100% now. And coming over here, it looks like we are actually mostly positive for battery, which is kind of a surprise. I was expecting this to be draining us, but I guess we have quite a bit of power now. So I guess all that's left is to dial the diamond dimension. And hopefully this works out okay. Here we go. Okay, so this isn't great. I'm apparently taking critical damage just constantly. I need to get out of here, but you can see I've got a world full of diamonds. But let me tell you, it wasn't great seeing my Draconic Evolution shield down to nothing and just constantly taking damage. So I'm not entirely certain what happened there. Maybe the dimlet had a really bad trait on it or some sort. It shouldn't have been unstable though, because it was getting more than enough power. And looking at this, I don't really see anything on here that strikes me as going to kill me horribly. If anyone knows what went wrong there, that would be nice to know. I haven't seen that happen before, short of a world collapsing. So that was kind of scary. Could have lost everything there. Anyhow, that moves us on to the next step, though, which is bringing us to the phase field generator, which is what would save us in that instance. But first, we need to make the dimension editor, which is another resonant self-run. This is getting old. Those are expensive. And then just 2 draconic cores. Okay, so the dimension editor does exactly what it claims that it does. It lets you put in a dimension and add dimlets to it to modify it. So if I wanted to put other features in other than just the terrain and the material, we could make this different. But given that we aren't going to use the dimensions or anything at all, let's just move on to the phase field generator, which is, interesting to say the least. It requires a blast protection 4 book, a protection 4 book, a bunch of dimensional shards, that's easy, the charge port that we have, a block protector, and another block protector, those aren't bad to make at least. Well, maybe they are. These shield templates are, no, this is all easy. Time to find out if I have the enchanted books or not, or if I'm going to have to make them with the Ender IO enchanter. Alright, and now the phase field generator is done as well. I'm actually kind of curious if this will save me in that weird busted diamond dimension or not. Let's give it a try. Well, I'm not taking damage now, but I don't know if it's because of the phased field generator or not. But, I don't know. It seems to all be here now. So, now we have a functional diamond dimension that we're not going to use. We could do this on a flat terrain one if we wanted to. And we would be able to send these directly to our Singularity Farm. Except, we already have the Singularity Farm pretty much well underhand with the creative tank. So, I don't entirely know what the point of that is. Man, this is a ridiculously fast day-night cycle too from the looks of it. This is pretty funny. Anyhow, let's get out of here. The important part, however, is we are now completely finished with RFTools. I just wish this had been better integrated with E2E than it was. But let's go gather all of these and say hello to the nice green check mark that says we are done, and now only leaving Botania and Thaumcraft. I guess let's go sift through the junk real fast. A terrarium? I don't know if I've got that one already. I don't. I'm out of room though. Let's just drop that right there. Pig iron, another builder, bookcase, paintings, epic fur, redstone, really? Cave illuminator, railgun, probably have like 3 of those though. More paintings, more bookshelves. Well, that was a absolutely enthralling amount of loot, I guess. Anyhow, if you found this episode interesting or entertaining, please consider leaving a like or subscribing if you're new. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.